Litecoin price prediction and technical analysis. And as you guys can see, we're on the monthly chart, and at this point in time we can see that the market is at a very strong level of resistance at this level, and it is a very strong level of resistance because we've had multiple rejections in and around that area in the past, right? We've had, as you guys can see, right, multiple areas where price rejected, and what this tells us is that at this point in time we may be getting ready to see the market actually bounce off of that level, right, which is over here, and then potentially move further down, especially because if you were to look at this area over here, you would see that at this point in time we seem to have what is an overextended W formation or W structure or double bottom, right? Doesn't really matter what you want to call it. And we can see that it is an overextended W formation because this leg over here is much lower than this leg, and it also has a neckline at that point more or less. And you guys know that I always say that when we have these patterns, we want to see price closing sufficiently above the neckline, and then come back to the neckline to test it out. And at that point where the neckline is generally where we look for those potential buy opportunities, especially if we have any key numbers that align with the Fibonacci retracement tool, right? But as I said, at this point in time, we are at a very strong level of resistance, and it is also the neckline of this W formation. To add to that, we had also had, as I said, this double top over here, and it too has a neckline at that level. So ultimately, what this means is that buying or selling within this region is a bit tricky. Buying or selling within that region is a bit tricky, and that is because, as I said, guys, initially we had this, right, price broke to the bottom side, came back to that level multiple times, and we may see the market actually move further down from there, right? Also, we have this W structure, and we may actually see price closing to the upside of that pattern, and then come back to that area, and then at that point is where we may then see the market move further up, right? Another thing that I also like actually about this chart is that we actually have this candlestick over here, right? And as you guys can see, it is a bullish candlestick with a small body and quite a long upper wick. And what that means is that where it ends at the top, where that wick ends at the top, we have a lot of liquidity there. And liquidity is money, and that money needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another, right? Having said that, I still say that buying or selling within this region is a bit tricky. Another reason is because remember that whenever we have these patterns, such as the W structure, what happens quite often is that traders and investors actually buy at that point and they place their stop losses just below, right? So we have a lot of stop losses at this point due to the fact that we had a lot of people buying at this point, and it actually makes sense for price at this point in time to bounce off of this area and to push further down to grab all of those stop losses, and then only we may potentially see the market giving us a double formation and then pushing all the way up to this level over here, right? So in conclusion, I would say the best thing to do at this point in time is to, at least if you're looking for buy opportunities, wait for the market to come back to this smaller W formation over here, and once price comes back to that neckline, at that neckline is where I believe on the lower time frames you may potentially look for buy opportunities. And again, our first take profit should be around this level over here because it is a very strong level of resistance at this point in time, right? And don't confuse the smaller W structure with this one over here.